Today's the day we make another video.
Hi, friends.
It's the Life Guru wannabes, Josh and Abby. Ow, how, whatever hello is. Um, we're on the floor today because it seemed like the right thing to do. We just did a little meditation, rejuvenation,
Yes.
contemplation, precipitation. Anyway, we were thinking and discussing, and it's a question that I know I've thought of a lot. The act of, or the art, or both, of transition. It's uncomfortable, right? Kind of feels weird. Why is that? Also, why do we want change, yet we don't? If that even makes sense.
We want to change, but we want to stay the same. Because staying in one spot and staying the same is more comfortable. And you want to be more comfortable, and change is just uncomfortable.
What is comfortability to you?
That's a good question.
What is comfortability to you all? Let that digest. I think to me, comfortability is waking up and feeling comfortable, content.
Good.
Now, the reason that, or why it is kind of contradictory to, if that's even how you say that word, if it contradicts, yeah, if it contradicts you to feel comfortable, yet you have to change in order to get there, right? For instance, I know waking up in the mornings and feeling content and happy with where I am, it hasn't happened lately. And so it takes change and transition to get to where you want to be, but that change and transition is uncomfortable. So in order to get to feeling comfortable and content, you have to undergo change and transition, which is uncomfortable, right? Weird. So I think it kind of stems from, and I think we've talked about this briefly, but it kind of stems from the ideology that our body and our mind, which are two different animals, are in constant conflict. One side wanting to be comfortable, the other side wanting constant change. So where does that leave you? That leaves you being a shell with this conflict inside constantly, which is uncomfortable. And I'll dive into that for a second. It's more like your ego, which is a frame of reference to you. It is what you're identified as. And we've talked about ego. But your ego kind of keeps everything in check in regards to change. And every time you kind of go through a transitional period, or you change, or you want to get a new job, or you want to break up with your significant other, or you want to get with someone, or moving, your initial thought process is, oh crap, oh, but that's change. I don't know. That's your ego.
I was going through that earlier. Like, well, come home from work to a different place, different people, no people. You wake up in the morning, different surroundings. Like, it's weird, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. Change makes me feel uncomfortable, but I know that it's going to be a good thing. But how is it good if it's uncomfortable? And another thing is, how do you know that this uncomfortable feeling is just change, or is it like a bad feeling? And that's something that I'm having a hard time identifying it with, you know. I took you off topic.
It's okay. No, it's everything's on topic. And so with that being in mind, to kind of have a more the most positive outlook that you can on said subject, because if you view transition as positive and you actually believe it to be, then the transition itself is going to be worth it. And so, I don't know, the analogy that I think of is a caterpillar pupating and turning into a butterfly. While it is in its cocoon and while it is transforming, it is vulnerable, right? Yes, it's in a cocoon. It has to be vulnerable in order to change. You have to be vulnerable in order to change. So, vulnerable, what I mean by that is uncomfortable. You're out of your comfort zone. because change wouldn't happen unless you were more or less out of your comfort zone. And so in order to change, you're going to feel different, but that's what change is. And so don't view it as scary. Don't view it like, oh my God, I don't know if I should make this move. I mean, it's all trial and error if you're going to distinguish between it being change or a bad feeling. Who's to say it's not any different? The point that I'm trying to make with it is view your transition as what it is, and it's transition, not scary, not what ifs, what if. It's what it is. It's transition. Each and every one of us are constantly transforming because that's what makes us human. Every day you wake up, you're a different version of you. You're different than you were yesterday. I know I'm a lot different today than I was yesterday. I'll be different tomorrow. I'm constantly transforming. You are constantly transforming, but view it as that instead of being like, it's uncomfortable. I'm feeling uncomfortable. I feel weird, which I do that all the time. I feel weird. But that feeling of weird is your transformation.
So it's good. Stop thinking of it as weird and be like, okay, like
I'm transforming.
Give it to me. Like, let's do it.
What's next? I made a video about looking in the mirror or I don't know if I made a video, made a post, something about looking in the mirror and saying, give me your best shot. And you're talking to yourself in that regard, but at the same time, it's crazy to think about, but you're talking to yourself, but it's like you're talking in the universe at the same time because it's like you're a new you. So every second you live on, you're transforming. You're in a cocoon, and eventually you're gonna be a butterfly. And think of it too. After a butterfly hatches from its cocoon, it's very vulnerable. Its wings all the blood hasn't gone to its wings. That's got to dry. It's got to take time. And that's the inevitable thing that we can't control is the time aspect of it.
I think that's a big part of this age too. Right now is that everybody is this constant transformation.
Everything's
you're constantly
new.
Changing. You're constantly growing. You're constantly experiencing new things. It's new. Everything is new, and you're in your cocoon. You're vulnerable. You're not comfortable.
And what are you gonna do about it? About this feeling uncomfortable? You're gonna transform. You're gonna change. You can be scared. You can be excited. Maybe feel a little bit of both. Ooh.
But either way, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. Stagnation is the worst kind of uncomfortable you could feel, and that's when you're not doing anything. Nothing's changing. You're just doing the same stuff. The cool thing to think about, folks, is when it comes to our lives, our individual lives, both physically and mentally, the sky's the limit. There's no record holder for how much you can learn. There's no record holder for how much you can experience in a given lifetime. It's yours for the taking. And so transform at your own will, but know that the more you transform, the more you're going to experience, the more you're going to live.
The more you let yourself transform.
Sure, exactly. It's a good point. So what are you all going to do about it? Wake up each day, look at yourself in the mirror if you're feeling uncomfortable and saying, I'm transforming.
Give me your best shot.
Give me your best shot, day.
Give it to me. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go somewhere. And we don't know where, but we're going.
Yeah. Show me what I need to learn today. Be open. Empty page.
Well, that's exactly what it is. I've said this so many times. I'll say it so many times more. Your future is not yet written. Mm-hmm. And you're the only one with the pen. I'm just writing today as it is.
Do what you want. Make your life what you want because it's your life. Nobody else is going to write it for you. I mean, there are so many times where I'm like, man, I wish that there were just like checkpoints. Like, oh, you got to this. Good. Now you get to do this. But like, we don't get that. We're our own checkpoint.
But view it how you will. Either view it negatively or view it positively. That's your choice. But what's the point in viewing it negatively? What's the point in viewing it as in, oh, this is uncomfortable. I'm not liking this. It's making me feel depressed, anxious. I know anxiety is always at my front door, but don't view it negatively. That's your choice. If you could view it positively, I am transforming. I am turning into a freaking butterfly.
Spread your wings and fly.
That's our 2 cents, folks. I don't We got 10 minutes in. Boom. If you sat through 10 minutes of us,
Haha.
congratulations.
Fist bump. Did it.
Anyway, transformation, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. But it means you're growing, and it means that you're becoming a better version of you every day that you transform. So get out there and enjoy the new you. I like that. All right. Bye, folks.
Bye.